What is up and welcome back to another video on high altitude investing. My name is Dallin Anderson. Today we're going to be running over Bitcoin, a couple coins on technical analysis, looking at the charts and getting really excited about some of these charts. Wasn't going to upload after the previous video for like a few weeks. So this morning was posting some charts to the group. In our group we have a pretty cool little Discord and VIP group, and I got really excited at these markets. So I posted some charts in there and was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a video. So even though I told myself I wouldn't for a couple weeks, here I am, and I'm really excited to run over some of these charts, Bitcoin, INJ, Solana. So yeah, it's gonna be a good day. Make sure you stay clear to the very end because you guys can see some of this art that I have around. Some of you want to see it, so we're gonna look at some of the different paintings and stuff that I have. But in the meantime, let's check out some charts and get started. And yeah, let's get going here. So you guys, we're gonna go ahead and start off with Bitcoin here today. Let's look at the 10-day candlesticks first, even though it says 3-day analysis on here, because I was doing charts earlier, so we can just change that really fast. So these are 10-day candlestick. Each candlestick represents 10 days worth of time. And this is the big correction that wiped out a lot of investors, wiped out my portfolio, at least for the time being, and really shook a lot of people out of the market. So this is called a correction. That's what happens when the market is too high and it has to correct, right? Because if it's overvalued in the short term, a correction means it's correcting back to its original value. Now, in a correction, what happens is it goes from being overvalued to undervalued. So you can see here, Bitcoin was overvalued in the short term at 69,000 per coin. Then it came all the way down to 16,000 per coin. So from 69,000 to 16,000. So at 69,000 in the short term, it was overvalued. And at 16,000 in the short term, it was undervalued. So that's kind of the way that we see a correction. It starts off overvalued. That's why it has to correct its value. And then by the end of the correction, it's undervalued, which is why you get the recovery, right? Because it has to go back to a more realistic value. And that 50% point between 69,000 and 16,000 is about 42,000, which is exactly where prices went to. So that's the 50%. We call that the median line, the medium, the center between 2 points. So that's where we're at right now. You can see price went overvalued, undervalued, came back to its true short-term value. So that's kind of what we see here, this ABC correction on Bitcoin and a large recovery up to 41,000 per coin. You can also see a 1 and a 2 wave, and we're going into that 3 wave now. The minimum target for an Elliott wave 3 wave is the 1.618 level. It does not mean that it has to hit that level, but statistically, that is the minimum target for Bitcoin. So that's $51,560 at the 1.618. And you can see that we have not reached that level yet. So it's pretty unlikely that wave 3 is complete. Even with this little drop from 44,000 down to 41,000 over the past few days. So you can see here that this Elliott wave 3 wave statistically leads up to about 51,000 per coin, or the 1.618. So that's the area that we're watching, is that 1.618 level. Prices, obviously, in wave 3 can actually go to the 2.618. So the 3 wave could go all the way up to there. So if it just goes crazy and starts bullish impulsing after it finds support right here, wave 3 can go that high, but statistically, the 1.618 is the minimum target. So we're at least watching for that $51,000 level on Bitcoin. So yeah, I believe that in the short term, prices can find support somewhere here and push up to that level. They could drop back to the next support level at 37, or even down to the next support level at 31,000. As far as what I'm seeing currently, I think it's more likely that we're going to have some type of support found pretty close here to push up for the 3 wave, the 1.618 level. So that's my kind of short-term view here. We could pull back a little bit, but I believe we will find support in this major area right here where there's a ton of liquidity, and prices should be able to finish making it up to that 1.618 level as it finds support right here in between 38,000 and where prices are at currently. So that's kind of what we're watching for, this 1.618, potentially the 2.618, and this major liquidity zone. So that's pretty cool, you guys. Now let's check out ADA. ADA also looks really good. If you look at the chart here, you can see that prices came down from about $3 to 18 cents, which is about a 92% decline. Let's check and see. 94% decline. That's pretty crazy. But you can see on Bitcoin, when it did its very first cycle, it also did a 94% decline in value. So it's nothing new for a very low market cap or a new thing to drop 94% in value. In fact, even large market cap things can do 90% declines. The Great Depression itself was over a 90% decline in the stock market. So ADA is following the same pattern as Bitcoin. This downtrending resistance breakout suggests that price could start to find a base down here. So a base is another way of saying support, building a foundation or a basing structure. It would not surprise me at all to see ADA pretty much continue rising with little drops along the way from here on out. And as we get closer to 2028, I think the parabolic action is going to get faster and faster. We've talked about a Great Depression, but first we have to have this huge run up. Now, after Bitcoin did this huge run up here on the bottom, you can see where price went from $13 all the way up here. It went up to $1,000 after this and crashed. So what ADA could do is it could increase significantly, break its all-time high just like how Bitcoin did. Once it's way out up above its all-time high, then it can do a crash just like how Bitcoin did after it pumped up. And that crash would actually be in perfect alignment with what we've talked about with the Great Depression happening around 2029. You can see right here is 2029. Bitcoin started rising, but by the time 2014 comes around here, it had already started to crash again. So this lines up perfectly with our idea of the Great Depression. Basically, that the crypto markets are going to moon like crazy, roaring 20s, and then a Great Depression coming. So ADA would break its all-time high, shoot way up above its all-time high, and then go into a big crash like it saw in 2021. And that's what I see here with ADA. This is my personal view. I really believe that now is the time to be investing in these markets. This isn't financial advice, but that's what I see. And I really believe that ADA can do a big move here. So super excited about this project. That's my views on ADA. Let's go ahead and look at ING. ING looks almost exactly like Amazon did, which is super crazy. So I believe it's ready for its mainstream adoption phase. The mainstream adoption phase is when something goes from people know about it and they use it to everybody is starting to use it, even if it's just a little bit. And that's exactly what we saw happen with Amazon after the internet bubble crash here in 2003. You can see that it accumulated and skyrocketed after that. In fact, Amazon became one of the biggest companies in the entire world after it did this pattern. INJ is doing the exact same thing right now. You can see that same exact accumulation pattern. It looks really, really nice. It's starting to break out of all-time highs, just like how Amazon did. Now, does that mean that INJ is going to become one of the biggest companies or cryptos in the world? No, that's not what I'm saying. The market cap probably will never reach, or at least not in this cycle, I don't want to say never, the same market capitalization as Amazon did. But it does mean that the same psychology is taking place, and I believe INJ will go into that public phase where people are starting to use it, mainstream adoption, which is what leads to these huge increases in value. These breakouts, these accumulation patterns are caused because of increase in demand. So yeah, that's my views on INJ. I believe it can skyrocket up past the all-time high. We could have pullbacks in the short term. It could go like this and bounce around before it goes. But I do see it breaking its all-time high. It looks really good right now. INJ is definitely one I wanted to talk about today because of the setup. So let's go ahead and check out Solana. This is the last one for the day. Solana is definitely one of the best looking charts out there right now. It's breaking out, it's leading the market, and you can see it looks almost identical to Ethereum back in 2020. Now, if you remember, we were investing in Ethereum in 2020 before 2021 happened. In 2021, we made a lot of money. Go watch my last video if you want to hear my story investing, because 2017 made a ton of money, 2021 made a ton of money here. And I believe that Solana is getting ready to do that same 2021 kind of move that Ethereum did, which is extremely profitable. So it's definitely one that I think is a good one to have in your portfolio, and one that I personally am very excited about. Obviously, you guys, you're going to want to pick coins based on your own research and your own knowledge, but the stuff that I teach in these videos are timeless truths, the patterns and stuff. So go learn these patterns for yourself, and I think you'll come to the same conclusion that I have. The Solana is set up for a very nice move. So that looks really good here with Solana. Prices could go up above the all-time high, just like how they did with Ethereum, and they'd rise pretty nicely here up above the all-time high. Of course, a correction would happen after you break a major all-time high. After price discovery breakouts, corrections are very common, like we saw here with Ethereum. It corrected after it broke that all-time high level. Also, to mention, I am on the logarithmic chart here. It looks a little bit different than the regular scaling. That's just for a little bit more precision here with Solana. You can see that I didn't do that with INJ, and I did not do that with Bitcoin or Cardano. But for the purpose of Solana, it does add a lot of clarity to switch to the logarithmic chart. So Bitcoin looks really good. I believe that it can find support in this major liquidity pocket over here on the left, head up to the 1.618 or even the 2.618. And any short-term stuff, like I said, watch this liquidity zone over here. It's basically just recreating that same liquidity over here to the right instead of to the left. And then, of course, ADA looks a lot like Bitcoin, could break out, go crazy, just in time to moon, pre-Great Depression. And when the Great Depression happens, I personally can't promise that anything will rise, because historically, pretty much everything crashes in Great Depressions. But it doesn't mean every business or company fails. There's a lot of things that thrived during the last Great Depression, so you just have to position yourself. But in the meantime, the roaring 20s is where we make the money. When this huge moon happens before the big crash, that's where you make your money. So INJ, Cardano, Solana, Bitcoin, these all look really good, you guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure that you click the links in the description below to join the Discord group for free, so that we can invest together and learn together. You can share your charts and join a community of people completely free. Also, links for the VIP in the description below if you're ready to get some of those signals so that we can invest on some of these charts and investment setups that we're looking at. Also, you guys, like I said, we're going to go ahead and look at some of that art. So let's go ahead and check some of that out right now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with this one. This is the latest painting that I got. So I have a friend that actually painted this. A really, really good artist. He passed away. He passed away recently, but this is a really, really awesome piece of art that he painted. And you can see that it is just so beautiful. He spent a lot of time, probably he said 1,000 hours plus painting this huge painting too. I'm a fairly tall person, so that painting goes up to about halfway up my body. I don't know exactly the dimensions, but it's a beautiful painting. So I know you guys kind of wanted to see some of my art, so that's why we're doing this here. Let's go ahead and look at the other one he painted. Oh, so just real quickly, you can just see here that this is the earth. This is a person meditating. You've got crystals around him. These really cool hands coming out, beautiful colors. Super cool piece of art. And this is the other one that he did for me. He actually did quite a few for me, but this is another one that he did for me. And this one has a temple right there, an LDS temple, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You can see that's the Salt Lake Temple right there. And then over here we have a Tibetan monastery. Then we have like a heart, kind of like the love of God. a guy meditating in the center, the little UFO alien guys coming over here. And then we've got the darkness coming up from the bottom. So I told him I wanted a piece that's the eternal battle between light and dark, like good and evil. And so that's kind of what he did here. Little wizard guy. The Eye of God up here in the top right corner. So that's really cool. I really appreciate having art around in my room. It's nice to have art around. It helps brighten your day, and especially beautiful, colorful art like this is. So this is just my collection, you guys. This right here is actually a 100% authentic hand-painted Tibetan painting. I mean, it's a magic circle, right? But this right here has a bunch of really beautiful colors on it. You can see that this is hand painted. So this is one of my favorite pieces. I usually keep a lot of these put away just for practical purposes. And then over here, we've got this one painted for me by a girl. So monks painted this one. My friend painted those two, and this one is painted by a girl. This one says Tezos till you Bezos. So that one's a pretty awesome little crypto painting right there. This one she just kind of did for fun. Super cool little painting here. The moon and sky and sun. Same girl did this one. A different girl did this one. This is Zelda from The Legend of Zelda, right? So that's pretty cool. And then over here we have another one that girl did, the same one that did the Tezos till you Bezos. She also did this beautiful Bitcoin going up into a yin and yang symbol with a golden path leading to it and like a asteroid meteor going through the space. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, we've got a couple more here, and then see, this is another one done by the same guy that did those two big ones. This one says HAI, high altitude investing. You can see the US dollars are getting converted into Bitcoins by this mysterious guy with a hat. And he painted this back when I wore the hat a lot. So yeah, he painted this for me. It's really awesome. Probably one of my favorites just because of how personal it is. Although it's hard to have favorites because they're all just so awesome. So yeah, that's my art. I hope you enjoyed the video and the art, and I will see you guys in the next one. As always, stay profitable out there.